Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Paul Ricard for the 6th race of the Euroformula Open season. You join us at the former home of the French Grand Prix, just on the hills outside Toulon and Marseille, on an absolutely baking afternoon, and we should be in for some brilliant racing. We are rapidly approaching the midpoint of the season, a busy flurry of races of which this Paul Ricard event comes bang in the middle. So it's hello from Ben Evans, welcome to Le Castellet, 27 degrees outside, not a cloud in the sky, as it has really been all weekend. But what has not been in any doubt either this weekend is the pace and form of Harrison Scott. Yesterday, the championship leader took the win, setting pole position and the fastest lap along the way. He lines up on pole once more for this afternoon's 15-lap encounter. Dominating qualifying this morning, almost 9/10 of a second clear of the rest of the field. And Scott, who has already won 4 of the 5 races so far this season, is putting together the sort of dominant season that we last saw back in 2014 with Sandy Stuvik. So there is the RP Motorsport car of Harrison Scott. And he will be hoping for a repeat of yesterday when he didn't get the greatest of getaways, but thereafter was able to stretch his legs and comfortably control the race. Nikita Troitsky, though, once more lines up second on the grid in the DriveX car. The Russian, who was well away yesterday, couldn't quite get the edge over Scott into turn 1. He will be hoping to do better again today, but Troitsky looking for a weekend of 2 trips to the rostrum. Yanni Fittier continuing his excellent qualifying form for the weekend. Another third-place start. He eventually finished 4th yesterday after being passed mid-race by Maid of Weideneichen. 4th on the grid is Alex Karkozik in the second of the RP Motorsport cars. The Polish driver, who had his season's best performance yesterday with a 6th place finish, will be hoping maybe to even knock on the door of a podium this afternoon. Onto the 3rd row of the grid, and it is Amaya Weideneichen, 2nd in the championship, and a 3rd place finish yesterday, who lines up in 5th position. The Carlin Motorsport team haven't had quite the pace of their rivals this weekend. 6th on the grid for Devlin De Francesco, who was disappointed to retire from yesterday's race, and so he will be hoping for a good result. Here is how the grid line up in full then. So Harrison Scott and Nikita Troitsky on the front row. Then Yanni Fittier and Alex Karkozik, an all-rookie row 2. Amaya Weideneichen and Devlin De Francesco on row 3. Ahead of Simo Laaksonen and Christian Hahn on the 4th row. Laaksonen the first, the Campos runners. Then Thiago Vivacqua and Petru Florescu continuing the Campos theme on row 5, ahead of Eliseo Martinez and Tarun Reddy, already involved in an incident getting away from the grid yesterday. Mateus Iorio will be very disappointed to be down 14th on the grid, just behind Lodovico Laurini, Pedro Cardoso and Alexei Chuklin on row 8, with Daniil Pranenko completing the field. But the Russian raced well yesterday en route to a season's best 11th place. So the car's about to head off on the formation lap around the 5.8 kilometre Paul Ricard circuit, which is a real test of the drivers and setup. So the driver's about to be signalled on their way as the grid is cleared. The heat haze bakes off the cars. It'll be Harrison Scott who will lead them round to see how the track conditions have changed since qualifying earlier on this morning. The answer is probably not an awful lot. It has been very consistent all weekend, but maybe steadily rubbering in just a little bit. So that is what we will be watching for as Scott goes on his way. Of course, in the Euroformula Open, they all run with the Dallara F312 chassis and with the control engine supplied by the championship promoters, GT Sport, who also provide a number of the other components on the car. They run on the Michelin tyre, and as a result, there is set up aside a great deal of parity between the cars, which therefore puts the onus on how the drivers can set them up and what they can do behind the wheel. It also means that this is a very cost-effective way of going Formula 3 racing, hence the fact that we see very healthy grids season on season. So the cars heading on their way now out to the furthest extremity of the circuit before heading through the Virage des Cols. That takes them on to the Mistral Straight, which, unlike the previous guys on which this circuit, this layout was raced back in the mid-1980s, 1986, the last French Grand Prix on this layout, then they have the chicane midway down the Mistral Straight. It opens up an overtaking opportunity. That is where Amir Weidenheithen was able to make his move on Yanni Fitcher yesterday to claim the final spot on the rostrum. But once they have navigated the chicane, they then rejoin the Mistral Straight and head on towards the Courbe du Cygne, which remains a real test for the drivers. High-speed right-hander asking everything of their aerodynamic grip, and also everything of the driver's neck muscles as well. Well, for Harrison Scott, this has been an emphatic start to the season. He won both of the races in Estoril at the season opener. He finished second and first in the two races at Spa-Francorchamps. Amir Weidenheithen getting the better of him in race one, and then he took out yesterday to a fairly dominant victory. Not unsurprisingly, therefore, he already has a very comfortable championship lead. And we are not yet at the halfway point of the season. But there are lots of drivers snapping at his heels. Amir Weidenheithen, Nikita Troitsky, Devlin De Francesco have all had their moments so far this season. Fitcher getting quicker and quicker. We shouldn't discount the likes of Thiago Vivacqua either for Campos, although the whole Campos team just having a slightly difficult weekend. Good race pace yesterday, but again, qualifying today, they've struggled to get higher than 7th on the grid. There is Devlin De Francesco, who was one of two retirements from yesterday's race, the other, of course, being his teammate Tarun Reddy. But De Francesco having an excellent weekend in Spa, where he had a third and a second place finish. And so he will be looking to challenge for his third trip to the podium of the season. So it's a 15-lap race, although if we do have the safety car out for a prolonged period, then we would be reverting to the 35-minute time limit. As Harrison Scott rolls to his marks in pole position. The RP Motorsport team watching on from the pit box. Nikita Troitsky alongside him, the Drivex car with the blue nose cone. On row 2 of the grid, you've got the red and white car, Yanni Fitcher, and then the similar RP Motorsport car to Harrison Scott of Alex Karkozik, but Karkozik you can pick out because he has the black helmet, Harrison Scott the multicoloured lid. Just waiting for Daniil Pronenko to take his place at the tail of the field. When he's done that, we'll get the signal and we'll go racing for the 6th time in 2017. Everybody looks to be there. There was the green flag just out of shot. As the lights are on, the revs rise. Who's going to get the jump? And they're off, and it's a good start from Nikita Troitsky. It's not such a good getaway from Harrison Scott, and Troitsky is going to get the jump on Scott as they head towards turn 1. And for the second race in succession, just slightly sluggish on the getaway from Harrison Scott, and today it's cost him. 3rd place is Fitcher, 4th Karkozik, 5th Amir Weidenheithen. Simo Laaksonen has been demoted, I think, by Thiago Vivacqua as they head out of the opening brace of turns and then into this technical second chicane. Christian Hans also made a good start to the race. Oh, and contact behind, and it's one of the Campos cars launched onto 2 wheels. Find out who that is in a moment. It would appear, whoever it was, they've damaged their suspension as Troitsky leads out of the Virage d'École onto the Mistral Straight for the first time, and a bit of a gap back to Yanni Fitcher in 3rd. He's got a good buffer over Alex Karkozik in 4th, as already Troitsky has to defend. It's Mateus Iorio in trouble, so more disappointment for the Brazilian, as Scott already looks to challenge Troitsky into the chicane. Around the outside goes Harrison Scott. Oh, but they almost make contact, but Scott goes through, takes the lead away from the Russian driver, and there was not much that Nikita Troitsky could do about that. So Harrison Scott didn't lead the first sector of the race. He's now in front. What can the Russian do in terms of a fight back as they swing through the Courbe du Cygne? Meanwhile, Amir Weidenheithen slips past Alex Karkozik. That puts the Indian into 4th as Troitsky challenges to the outside of Harrison Scott into Double Droit de Beausset, then looks to the inside, and again it's very tight. They give each other racing room as they climb up hills side by side between Scott and Troitsky for the lead of the race. And as they slow themselves down, it's going to allow others to join in the fight as well. Christian Hahn gets demoted by Petru Florescu as Troitsky stays with Scott. We could hopefully be in for a good race here as Redi Weidenheithen breaking away from Alex Karkozik. He'll try and chase down Yanni Fitcher as the race leaders swing out of the Virage du Pont for the first of 15 times and sprint along the start and finish straight. Completing the lap, Troitsky half a second adrift of Scott. It's going to be really the run out of the Virage des Cols onto the Mistral Straight that will open up the chance for Troitsky. Aggressive behind between the Campos teammates as Vivacqua squeezes out Simo Laaksonen. They're busy fighting over 9th and 10th. They've got Tarun Reddy just behind also Eliseo Martinez as well. So the only casualty on the first lap of the race, Mateus Iorio, another retirement for the Brazilian. He also crashed out of race 1 in Spa a couple of weeks ago at Pouhon. Through. Let's have a look then at the replay, see what happened. And it was contact from Eliseo Martinez that tipped Iorio onto 2 wheels. Here is a look then at the fight for the lead. Harrison Scott around the outside and Nikita Troitsky. Applause from the RP Motorsport team. That's what their man has been delivering all season as Christian Hahn looks to the inside of Thiago Vivacqua. That's going to be snug. Vivacqua just about holds on. Simo Laaksonen looking to try and fight his way past. They've also got Eliseo Martinez and Tarun Reddy as part of that queue. The race leaders heading into the Courbe du Cygne. It's this side-by-side scrap going on behind, though. The dark car of Christian Hahn challenging his compatriot Thiago Vivacqua side-by-side into the Courbe du Cygne. Brave stuff from both of them. Vivacqua's got the inside line. It's 3 wide behind going into Du Bourgois de Beauzet. And still Christian Hahn, he's going to be boxed out here. He might lose more than just the 1 place as they swing uphill. This is the squabble over 8th position. It seems to be encompassing pretty much the rest of the field. So they've got Daniel Pranenko and others as part of it. So they're all closing up behind Thiago Vivacqua. Then we've got Christian Hahn, Simo Laaksonen, Eliseo Martinez, Tarun Reddy, Daniel Pranenko, Lodovico Laurini. Alexei Chuklin probably won't be too far adrift. There he is. And also Pedro Cardoso. So they come through to complete the second lap of the race. It's been a good lap for Harrison Scott. He's set the fastest lap. He's eased away from Nikita Troitsky, and Troitsky might just have to start consulting his mirrors because Yanni Fitcher is closing up onto the tail of the DriveX car, and he is bringing Amea Weidenheithen with him for company. And if they slowed themselves down scrapping, Alex Karkozik, Devlin De Francesco and Petru Florescu would all be into that scrap as well. So Harrison Scott, he's looking to try and check out and break away as they swing through the Virage des Cols. Nobody looks to be close enough to challenge this time around. The De Francesco might have a run on Karkozik. Hard to tell from this camera angle. It rather foreshortens the gap between the cars, but nobody is moving across to cover their line just yet. But you can see in the tow, De Francesco is closing up to the tail of Alex Karkozik. Not to the point where he's going to threaten the Polish driver through the chicane. Good exit though. Could be on for the Courbe du Cygne and the Du Bourgois de Beauzet. The scrap behind has at least momentarily settled itself down. Lodovico Laurini seems to have been shuffled to the back of the queue. Now running behind Pedro Cardoso. Through the Courbe du Cygne. Still this field all running as a continuous train. There's not much of a time spread across the pack at all. As Eliseo Martinez looks to apply a little bit of pressure to Christian Hahn. Harrison Scott breaking clear. Nikita Troitsky trying to stay with him. Then Yanni Fitcher and Amea Weidenheithen. This has been the quartet who've really dominated proceedings this weekend, with then Karkozik and De Francesco just behind. Amea Weidenheithen yesterday playing the long game, spent the first 7 laps of the race steadily hunting down Yanni Fitcher, made the move mid-race, and then was able to break away from the German. Now he might fancy that if he could get past Fitcher a little bit sooner this afternoon, that Nikita Troitsky could be a target as well. Troitsky, though, having had a good lap, he regains half a second's advantage over Yanni Fitcher. Fitcher 7/10 clear of Weidenheithen. There is the Canadian Devlin De Francesco in pursuit of Alex Karkozik. Petru Florescu just in behind him. A pair of them former teammates at Carlin as into the pit lane for Lodovico Laurini. That would be why he had dropped to the back of the pack. It's the tight right-hander. De Francesco trying to drive through the turbulent air of the car in front. That's always the difficulty for these drivers, because relatively speaking, Formula 3 cars have got actually more grip than power, and it means getting those final couple of tenths to your rival can be very, very tricky. So the race start under investigation. We'll find out more in due course as De Francesco again closes to the tail of Alex Karkozik, under braking into the chicane. The Carlin car a little bit closer than it was on the previous occasion, but Karkozik not as yet being forced into a defensive manoeuvre. Meanwhile, Troitsky, Fitje and Weidenheithen pretty much as they were. It's allowing Harrison Scott to ease away at the front of the field as they turn through the Courbe du Cygne for the fourth time, down to the Du Bourgeois de Beausset. De Francesco now on the cusp of starting to ask some questions of Alex Karkozik. Karkozik, though, sticking to the racing line, because as soon as he starts to go offline, preemptively defending, that will allow De Francesco to be onto his tail in a heartbeat. 7th is Petru Florescu, 8th is Thiago Vivacqua, 9th Christian Hahn, and then completing the top 10 at the moment is Eliseo Martinez, just clear of Simo Laaksonen. Florescu trying to get onto terms with the cars in front as he navigates the right-hander, accelerates along the start and finish straight. I'm sure he's going to be quite close enough to challenge, as Weidenheithen is a little bit nearer to Yanni Fitje. This is much as what we saw yesterday, which is that the Carlin drivers had a really good car underneath them for the whole race duration. Christian Hahn with his work cut out in 9th position. The Teo Marti Motorsport car of Eliseo Martinez just in behind him. Still Laaksonen ready and Pranenko there for company. And this an impressive performance from Christian Hahn thus far. He's only been in the points once so far this season. That was the 7th place in race 1 in Estoril. That was a somewhat attritional encounter, whereas this one, he's well up inside the top 10 and doing a good job of holding his own. So down the first portion of the Mistral Straight, the rear wing almost juddering under braking. Harrison Scott absolutely on the limit, stretching clear of the rest of the field. As now De Francesco to the inside and past Alex Karkozik. So the move that's been a couple of laps in the making has been completed. Devlin De Francesco moves into 5th position. It also puts him 3rd on the rookie podium behind Troitsky and Fitje. But Karkozik looks to fight back into the Courbe du Cygne. Alex Karkozik challenging to the outside. De Francesco holds the line to the inside. They head downhill to the Du Bourgeois de Beausset, side by side still. Now De Francesco gets his nose in front. Karkozik not quite close enough to challenge for the switchback, so the Canadian has made the move stick. The question is now that he's in some clear air, can he do anything about reeling in the cars in front? Another look at it. Francesco sails to the inside, left it late, but got the car stopped and turned in time, and therefore no retaliation available to the Poland. Across the line for Harrison Scott. He chalks up a 3rd race distance, gave away a fraction of ground to Nikita Troitsky over that last lap, and Troitsky easing clear of Yanni Fitje, but Fitje now with pressure from Amir Weidenheithen. Devlin De Francesco released into some clear air. What can he do about inserting himself into the squabble for 3rd? For Alex Karkozik in 6th, he's got Petru Florescu already filling his mirrors in 7th. So for Karkozik, this is going to be a busy afternoon's work. And behind, Thiago Vivacqua pushing very hard as well to try and join into this scrap. It's De Francesco through the first sector, doing his personal best first sector of the race so far. Means that he's gapping Karkozik. The problem being, though, that he's not making any inroads to the cars in front. You can see that 3 seconds or so that he needs to close up. Nikita Troitsky then potentially heading to another 2nd place finish this weekend. Harrison Scott 2.5 seconds up the road, not having put a wheel wrong really since the cars left the pits on Friday morning. It's going to be a tall order, but he is able to maintain that buffer over Yanni Fitje. Fitje under a little bit less pressure today than he was yesterday from Amir Weidenheithen. So the battle that's the closest is really this one for 6th and 7th, as Petru Florescu has reeled in Alex Karkozik. Starting to try and force that mistake, particularly through this more technical final sector on the lap. This is where these cars struggle to cut through the turbulent air, but at the same time, if the driver in front makes a mistake, you can be through like a shot. As the road starts to tighten up into the last corner, the Virage du Pont. Around the right-hander. There's Thiago Vivacqua, all angles. Eliseo Martinez behind in 9th. Simo Laxonen completed the top 10 as Alexei Chuklin goes wheel to wheel with Pedro Cardoso. They are fighting over 14th and 15th. Chuklin to the inside of Cardoso. Forces Cardoso out wide. Now, where does Cardoso rejoin? Right in front of Chuklin. So clearly Cardoso is of the view that he was through anyway. Chuklin looks to fight back en route to turn 1. Draws alongside the Brazilian, looks to swoop around the outside, makes the move stick, regains the position. And Cardoso will now look to fight back, try and overhaul the Fortec car as the pair of them sprint towards turns 3 and 4. Jinking downhill all the while. A little bit sideways there from Cardoso. Holds onto the car under braking, then the very, very sharp stop before they pick up the throttle again, accelerate on their way. Harrison Scott having just set another fastest lap of the race. A little bit of a challenge from Petru Florescu on Alex Karkozik. They continue to dispute 6th and 7th. And you can see the advantage that Scott's got now, over 3 seconds over Nikita Troitsky. Troitsky 1.5 seconds over Yanni Fittier. Fittier over a second over on Amir Vardeniath, and then 3.5 seconds back to Devlin De Francesco. Karkozik in 6th, a lot less than that over Petru Florescu. But then for all of his effort behind, Thiago Vivacqua not really able to close up onto those cars in front. So the order, certainly within the top 10, looking relatively stable just at the moment, but we're still in the early stages of the race. This is now coming to the end of what's been a fairly tiring and long weekend for the drivers. Lots of running on Friday, qualifying in the race yesterday, qualifying this morning. It's going to be a test of stamina, particularly in this heat, to make sure that they get through to the end of the race without any drop-off in performance as they accelerate through, completing the 7th lap of the race. And at the front of the field, Harrison Scott putting together the solid dominant performance we've not seen for a very long time in the Euroformula Open. If it stays as it is, he's going to have a complete clean sweep of the weekend. 2 pole positions, 2 fastest laps, and 2 race victories. Florescu continues to chase Alex Karkozik as they run through the almost moonscape features of this high-tech test facility. Paul Ricard, a slight snatch of the brakes there from Karkozik, picks up the throttle. That shouldn't have delayed him too much. Particularly as Florescu just a little bit untidy as they head now onto the Mistral straight. Florescu 3 car lengths adrift as they go onto the straight. The Campos team watch on, they may pass on instruction, but really for Florescu it's a case of getting into the toe behind Karkozik. Can he do anything into the chicane? He just feints to the inside, but under braking he gets to within about half a car length. Can't do much more than that, and immediately the gap between them opens up once more. On towards the Cours du Cygne. It's possibly been a little bit of a better exit from Florescu relative to that of Karkozik as they swing into the Cours du Cygne. Now, if Florescu stays tight, he may be able to challenge as they run down to the Du Bourgeois de Beauzet. Karkozik covers the inside line. Florescu looks to the outside. Will then look for the switchback. There's a gap to the inside. Florescu goes for it. Karkozik toughs it out around the outside. Wheel to wheel. They just about avoid interlocking. Karkozik then asserts the track position. He's got the inside line for the next turn, and he rebuffs the challenge of Petru Florescu, at least for the moment. But the Romanian still on the prowl, still looking to try and pick his way past. Can't quite do it as they come through to end the lap. And Florescu thinks better off from having a lunge to the inside as they head into the final turn. So across the line they come. They take us up over half race distance. Down towards turn 1 now as the pair of them fought. Their pace dropped by about a second. Means that Thiago Vivacqua, there he is, in the background, is starting to join in the battle as well. So for Florescu, he needs to keep it tight through this opening sequence. Could maybe challenge into turns 3 and 4, and then on the brakes into 5. More likely, he's going to get the joy on the Mistral straight once more, as he did a lap ago. At the same time, Karkozic will know the fight's coming. But crucially, as we talked about earlier on in the race, Florescu is able to get through that pocket of turbulent air behind Karkozic, and once you're that near to the car in front, the task gets easier. And yes, Florescu appreciably close to Karkozic this time as they run onto the Mistral straight. You can barely see the Campos car tucked up behind Alex Karkozic as they head towards the chicane. Karkozic covers the inside line, so Florescu forced to the outside, draws alongside on the brakes. He's going to try and sweep through, and he makes the job. That's a lovely move from Petru Florescu, beautifully judged and very well executed. But immediately the boot on the other foot, because now it's Karkozic who has the benefit of the toe towards the Courbe du Cygne. It's Karkozic who'll be able to settle in behind Florescu as they swing through the quick right-hander. And will Karkozic be able to challenge into the Double Joie de Beausset? Certainly, Florescu thinks so. He covers tight the inside line and then stays tight, doesn't leave the space for a switch back from Karkozic. It means as they exit the Double Joie that Florescu just understeers out wide, but it's well defended. No space there at all for Karkozic, but look at this, Thiago Vivacqua joining in the scrap as well. Karkozic and Florescu's dice, they continue to slow themselves down. And there's an opportunity here for Vivacqua, who looks to the inside of Karkozic and is going to snatch the place. Alex Karkozic didn't defend the position, and Thiago Vivacqua jinked through, or does he? Because Karkozic runs wide, rejoins the circuit. Vivacqua immediately adjacent to him as they head towards the first turn. Karkozic covers the inside line. Vivacqua might fancy he's got the outside track here. Indeed he does, swoops through and past. Karkozic still disputes it. They just about give each other racing room as they run on towards turns 3 and 4. Karkozic still off the road. At what point does he rejoin? Now he does, but he has to concede to Thiago Vivacqua. Immediately they've got Eliseo Martinez into the fight as well. So this has become a rolling maul, really, and it's now for 8th and 9th place between Karkozic and Martinez, because Petru Florescu has well and truly made good his escape. Thiago Vivacqua likewise. And now Karkozic in 8th position, Eliseo Martinez just behind him in 9th. Then there is a little bit of daylight to Simo Laaksonen in 10th. Sprint along the Mistral straight on to the chicane. Turn left, turn right, let the road run away from them. Here's another look at how it all unfolded. This was Florescu's move. Absolutely judged, inch perfectly. And then as they came out of turn 1 and 2, Vivacqua elbowed aside Karkozic, and Karkozic, looking for the right moment to rejoin, didn't want to leap over the curves, but by the time that he came back onto the circuit, Vivacqua had definitively got through. Well, for all that frantic excitement, it's all very calm on the Campos pit wall. There's now Eliseo Martinez, who has been impressive all weekend in the Teo Martin Motorsport Cup, is taking his turn to apply a little bit of pressure to Alex Karkozic, and from 4th on the grid, Karkozic has been slipping steadily down through the field as they come out of the final turn. The RP Motorsport car punches a hole in the air. Eliseo Martin is able to ride behind, take advantage of the slipstream, just over 2/3 race distance. Still Harrison Scott who leads, 4 seconds clear of Nikita Troitsky. Yanni Fittier in a fairly secure 3rd. 4th, Meir Weidenreuther. 5th, Devlin De Francesco. 6th, Petru Florescu. 7th, Thiago Vivacqua. We watch the fight for 8th and 9th between Karkozic and Martinez, and then Simo Laaksonen, who completes the top 10. Run over the curbs. Out the Virage de Cool. Here is the fight for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And Troitsky's never been able to build that definitive buffer over Yanni Fittier, but unlike yesterday, the German in the Fortec car doing a good job of keeping Meir Weidenreuther at bay. Weidenreuther's been kept no closer than 7/10 of a second. So for Yanni Fitcher, this could be his first podium of the season overall. Nikita Troitsky in second place, leading the rookie class of the race as well from Yanni Fitcher and Devlin De Francesco. You can see the tiniest of margins between Fitcher and Vaitanathan. So neither driver really able to make an incursion into the other's advantage. Look at Harrison Scott at work. Not seen masses of Harrison Scott this afternoon, mainly because he's now 4.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field, looking likely to be scoring his second double victory weekend of the season, and this is only the third event of the year. He won both races in Estoril. He's about to make it, all things being equal, 5 wins from 6 races, further extending the championship lead. Again, it was after that far from ideal start, making the best of it, challenging Nikita Troitsky down the Mistral straight for the first time. And then once he took the lead, thereafter, Scott has been able to check out, pretty much run the race that he's wanted to. The thing to remember is that it's looking so smooth and straightforward for Scott. It's absolutely not behind the wheel, because these drivers are all dancing on that absolute razor's edge from these Euroformula Open cars, where they have all the grip in the world until suddenly they have none at all, and they just have to find that needle point, biting point between those two states of grip, and that is where they hit the sweet spot with the performance. Nikita Troitsky, this will be his third second-place finish of the season, if it stays as it is, and he's now got a 2-second buffer over Yanni Fitcher. Fitcher's just got Amir Vaitanathan starting to close up once more. The Indian driver only 7/10 back from Fitcher as they come through to complete the second sector. The question is, though, whether or not the Carlin driver can now stay close to the Fortec car as they run through the more technical third and final sector on the lap. If he can do that, then there might yet be a twist in the tail here. So as we saw yesterday, Vaitanathan was able to steadily reel in the German. He knew he was only going to get a couple of chances to really challenge. He's running out of laps here, but 3¼ tours of the circuit. He might just be able to do something as they come to the close of the 12th lap of the race. You can see the race leader Harrison Scott long gone down the road in front of them. Likewise, Troitsky building up a buffer over Fitcher. Now, this has been a good lap here from Amir Vaitanathan. 4/10 quicker than Yanni Fitcher. It means that he's been able to maintain that 6/10 of a second buffer through the final sector. A little bit sideways there from Fitcher through turn 1. This will give hope to Vaitanathan as he looks to try and get ever closer. They're coming towards the end of the first sector in a couple of corners' time. That's a little bit smoother from the German. Vaitanathan caught maybe slightly in the turbulent air, but able to hook it across. Takes the apex nice and cleanly. Turn 5. Now, this is the section of the track which could play to the Indian's advantage if he can use the toe behind Yanni Fitcher to look to challenge once more into the Mistral straight chicane. Here you see that moment from Fitcher, the tail of the car, momentarily breaking traction. A committed right foot gets him out of it. Vaitanathan gets up underneath the rear wing. Fitcher through the chicane. Vaitanathan just trying, if he can, to take slightly different lines, see if that's going to allow him to challenge the German as they head towards the Courbe du Cygne. From that angle, it looks as if the Carlin car is close, but we'll find out more as they swing into the right-hander. Through they come. It's just a car length between the pair of them, and now Vaitanathan looks to challenge their run downhill. Fitcher covers the inside line, then moves back across. Great dicing into the double right-hander. They'll climb uphill, and that was well anticipated from Fitcher. He could see what Vaitanathan was likely to try. But it's one of the enjoyable features of this Paul Ricard circuit that there are quite a few different places where the drivers can challenge and overtake if they're close enough to the car in front. And again, Vaitanathan able to stay with Yanni Fitcher through the final sector on the lap. But it's just 2 more laps. Fitcher racing for his first podium in the Euroformula Open. For Amir Vaitanathan, He's looking to make it 2 podium visits from his weekend. And at least keep ticking the points over in the championship. So he closes up onto Yanni Fitje into the opening chicane. Seesawing at the wheel, being buffeted a little bit from the car in front. But they come out of turns 1 and 2, about 2 car lengths between the pair of them. This section of the track, more challenging to overtake. Svajdanaithan carries a lot of entry speed. He needs to stay close to the Fortec car as they head onto the Mistral Straight. For Yanni Fitje, this 6th turn is absolutely key. Just needs to keep it nice and smooth. And now wind up the throttle as they swing through the Virage d'École. Out the left-hander, the gap between them is about 4 car lengths. So Fitje has done the job thus far. Team Fortec consult the monitors, consult the data. Svajdanaithan will close a little bit in the toe. Is he going to be close enough to challenge? No, he's not. Gets to within a car length. Again, tries to stay tight to Fitje as they come out, and this could be good for Svajdanaithan. He's a little bit closer to Yanni Fitje than he was a lap ago. Is he going to be close enough to the challenge into the Courbe du Cygne? Possibly not. But as they come out towards the Double de Beausset, where Fitje places his car is going to be absolutely key. And again, the German goes to the inside and keeps it tight, then eases across, tries to box in Svajdanaithan. Svajdanaithan looks to the outside. Is there a gap to the inside as they come through the second right-hander? Not really. Again, well defended, aggressive, but clean from Yanni Fitje. So nothing doing for Amir Svajdanaithan just yet. And they've only got 1 1/4 laps to run here in Paul Ricard, because the race leader, Harrison Scott, will be starting the final lap fairly shortly. So it's been 2 laps in succession through the Courbe du Cygne towards the Double de Beausset, where Svajdanaithan's been close. Now, where else could he wind up the pressure? This is where the race starts to become a little bit like taking an exam on a treadmill for Yanni Fitje and Amir Svajdanaithan, because they are at peak physical exhaustion really for the race. This is the end of the long weekend under searing heat, but they're just trying to outthink, what's my rival doing? Where can I push? Where can I challenge? Svajdanaithan not quite as close as he was to Fitje on the previous lap. But I imagine that as they swoop downhill here, Svajdanaithan, breaks that a little bit later, tries to close some ground on Fitje. The German checks in his mirrors as they head towards turn 5, looks to see where the Indian is. Svajdanaithan definitely not quite as close as he was a lap ago, and it means he's going to have to do a fair amount on the brakes into the chicane to try and close the gap down, because Yanni Fitje has about 6 car lengths as they swoop onto the Mistral Straight. Harrison Scott, meanwhile, leads the way. Here is the British driver. He navigates the chicane. It's been another pretty much perfect afternoon for Harrison Scott. But what about this fight for third? Again, Svajdanaithan maybe gets the better of the chicane in comparison to Yanni Fitje, but he's not as close as he was a lap ago. As swinging through the Courbe du Cygne, the race leader, Harrison Scott. Again, it's Nikita Troitsky who's going to chase him home. And then you see the deficit to Troitsky into the Double de Beausset. It's been a very solid weekend, this, for the Russian. It's not going to give him a race victory. It's going to give him 2 rookie class wins now behind. You just saw a flash of blue trailing red, which suggests that Yanni Fitje has still got the advantage over Amir Svajdanaithan as Harrison Scott negotiates the last couple of turns. It's not really an awful lot more you can say. It has been a masterful weekend for Harrison Scott. For the 2nd race in succession, he does the clean sweep, pole position, fastest lap, and the win to Harrison Scott and RP Motorsport. His 5th victory in 6 races this season. Nikita Troitsky takes 2nd place, and Yanni Fitje claiming 3rd position. He and Fortec's first outright race podium in the Euroformula Open, with Amir Svajdanaithan a very close 4th. Devlin De Francesco takes 5th and 3rd on the rookie roster, and behind Fitje and Troitsky. With Petru Threscu in 6th, 7th to Thiago Vivacqua. Harrison Scott, Nikita Troitsky acknowledging the applause of the marshals as they head back around towards Parc Ferme and the podium. Harrison Scott, he has been the dominant performer once more this weekend in the Euroformula Open. His championship lead extends further still. Nikita Troitsky, though, Really good drive today. He got the jump on Scott at the line, couldn't quite defend it into the Mistral chicane for the first time, and thereafter it was Scott who was able to break clear and drive away from the pack once more. So the flags on display as the Euroformula Open field take their last trip around Paul Ricard before heading towards Parc Fermé. They've got a couple of weekends off, but will next be in action on the 1st and 2nd of July at the Hungaroring, the first trip to the track just outside Budapest for a couple of years for the Euroformula Open class. So let's have a look then at the final classification. Harrison Scott wins, 3.8 seconds clear, rookie class winning Nikita Troitsky. Yanni Fitcher in third, great scrap he had with Amir Vardeniathan. Devlin De Francesco in fifth, Petro Florescu sixth, Diogo Vavaca in seventh. Both those Campos drivers racing well through the field. Alex Karkozic slipping to eighth, but a tenacious drive, and he held off Eliseo Martinez in the latter stages, with Simo Laaksonen completing the top 10. Terran Reddy just outside the points in 11th, ahead of Christian Hahn, Daniel Pranenko, Pedro Cardoso, Alexei Chuklin and Ludovico Naurini. Matteo Siorio we lost on the first lap of the race. In terms of the championship then, it's now a 66-point lead for Harrison Scott, with Amir Vardeniathan still fending off Nikita Troitsky in their scrap for second in the standings. Yanni Fitcher's solid weekend elevates him to fourth, ahead of Devlin De Francesco, with Matteo Siorio, the big loser. He slips down into eighth as Eliseo Martinez climbs up to ninth. Delighted Harrison Scott waves to the crowd as he heads into pit lane. And except for that first race at Spa, when Amir Vardeniathan was able to read the tactics and beat Scott, it has really been all Scott's way this season. And this weekend, arguably his most dominant yet, completely maximising the points haul from the weekend. Well, there's Alex Karkozic, who certainly had a busy afternoon of racing. Nikita Troitsky to a halt in Parc Fermé. The same for Yanni Fitcher, who has had easily his best weekend of the season so far, a fourth and a third place, as Troitsky hops out. Goes to shake hands and thank his DriveX mechanics. It's rolling to a halt comes Harrison Scott. Well, we had the bow on the nose cone yesterday. We'll see what celebration today's brings. As the steering wheel is popped out, clambers Harrison Scott. And again, a wave and off to thank the RP Motorsport team. That was pretty much ideal performance from Scott. And you just get this occasionally, don't you, where you have a driver and a team who just completely understand each other. The team providing the car exactly as the driver wants it. That was a hard afternoon's work for Yanni Fitcher, but a very well judged one. Super drive, particularly in the last couple of laps, to fend off Amir Vardeniathan. Huge grin, not unsurprisingly, from Harrison Scott. Nikita Troitsky, a smile. Rookie victory, but what can he do in 3 weeks' time to overhaul Scott? Well, we'll find out in Budapest.
Harrison Scott, probably not the most difficult race of the year, but you did sweat.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit tough actually. I didn't get the best of starts. Yesterday I bogged down quite a bit off the line, so I thought So I tried something different and went the complete opposite way and had loads of wheel spins. So yeah, Nikita got past me at the start, and then I knew I've been good all weekend in sector 1. So if I could stay close to him on that first lap, that I'd have a chance in the slipstream down to the chicane. And as I did, yes, put up a bit of a fight, but luckily managed to keep it clean. Keep all 4 wheels on the car, and yeah, from then it was just about putting in the fast lap times. But yeah, it's never difficult, especially when it's this hot. But no, really happy to get it.
Yeah, it was very hot and the tires suffered, I saw.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Michelin have quite a soft compound, so they go off quite a lot as the race goes on. But no, just about managing it, and yeah, the car was fantastic, and I was able to push really straight from the off, and yeah, kind of all the way to the end as well, which was really good.
Well done. Podium now.
Thank you.
You must be used to that.
Starting from pole position, Harrison Scott got jumped by Nikita Troitsky as they sprinted towards turn 1. The Russian slightly cleaner on the getaway as Yanni Fitcher was able to turn through in 3rd place, ahead of Karl Kozik and Weidenheithen. Behind, there was drama as Mateus Yorio got launched by Eliseo Martinez, and broken suspension put the Brazilian out of the race. Down the Mistral straight for the first time, and Harrison Scott left it all out there to get around Nikita Troitsky and take a lead that he wouldn't concede. Behind, there was some fantastic fighting. Thiago Vivacqua, Christian Hahn and others went wheel to wheel. Likewise, Pedro Cardoso and Alexei Chuklin enjoying a good tussle, which was eventually decided in favour of Cardoso. Notwithstanding the very best efforts of Chuklin, who was giving it his all in the Fortec car. Meanwhile, Alex Karkozik had a very busy afternoon. Having been passed by Devlin De Francesco, he then came into the crosshairs of Petru Florescu and Thiago Vivacqua, eventually having to concede to both Campos drivers before settling for 8th. Nonetheless, it was some excellent wheel-to-wheel racing. For Harrison Scott, though, aside from that first lap, it was an untroubled afternoon, and he came through to score an RP Motorsport's 5th victory in 6 races, further extending his championship lead. 2nd place and the rookie win went to Nikita Troitsky, with Yanni Fitcher scoring his first podium with 3rd. So on to the rostrum for Fitcher, Troitsky, Scott and RP Motorsport. Always a very proud moment for any driver to have the national anthem played in their honour. And for Harrison Scott, he has been hearing it a lot this Euroformula Open season. Fitcher celebrates 3rd place. Nikita Troitsky, his 3rd second place finish of the season. Harrison Scott can only hope he's booked a large suitcase for the journey home. 2 winners' trophies, his haul from the trip to Paul Ricard. Chance to pose for the photos before moving on to the bubbly, and then attention starting to turn towards the Hungaro Ring on the 1st and 2nd of July. That event will take us through to the halfway point of the season and into the summer break. For now though, all smiles on the Paul Ricard rostrum as Scott gets doused by Fitcher and Troitsky. As quick as he was on track, Harrison Scott maybe not quite as rapid in uncorking the bubbly. So we then turn our sights to the rookie podium. And once more, we've had our rookie podium contenders right up at the sharp end of the field this afternoon. 3rd place going to Devlin De Francesco. Runner-up, Yanni Fitcher, and our double rookie winner for the weekend here in Paul Ricard, Nikita Troitsky. Lovely shot there of Troitsky at work, just looking up at the road ahead, fully focused on the job. And he gets the applause of the DriveX team as he moves to the top step of the rostrum. On to the presentation of the trophies then. Third place to Devon DeFrancesco. Good drive, great move on Alex Karkozik, and reward for the Carlin Motorsport team. Runner-up again, Yanni Fitcher. And Nikita Troitsky sweeping rookie trophy this weekend. And this is going to be an intriguing championship battle. So we will see you in Budapest on the 1st and 2nd of July. Until then, from Ben Evans in Paul Ricard, it's goodbye.